Are you ready for a heartwarming story? At the Pari Deza Zoo in Belgium, a family of orangutans was feeling lonely and bored and very sad after the pandemic hit, which led to the zoo being closed to the public. The zookeepers had a brilliant idea to help the orangutans not feel so lonely and sad. The question is, who was going to join them? Would the orangutans even care? Would it work and hopefully put the joy back into their lives? The answer was something magical. And when the zoo reopened, the visitors couldn't wait to see their unlikely friends playing together. It's like watching the odd couple in the animal kingdom, a true spectacle of nature. At the Pari Deza Zoo in Belgium, in one of their enclosures there were a family of orangutans. The family consisted of Eugen the father, Sari the mother, and their 6-year-old baby, Barini. The family lived in the enclosure with an older couple, Gamma and Sinte, and they loved watching humans come and go outside their enclosure. It was a great form of entertainment for them. But when the pandemic struck, the zoo closed its doors to the public, and the orangutans lost all the attention that they were getting. The zookeepers tried their best to entertain the orangutans, but they were still getting bored and lonely and showed a great deal of sadness, which could in time lead to mental health problems and illnesses. The zookeepers knew they had to do something to keep the orangutans occupied, mentally and physically. So the staff had a brilliant idea. Let's build a river that goes through the orangutan enclosure, starting from another enclosure. The question on everybody's mind was, who would come swimming down this river? Would it work? Would the orangutans even care? Finally, the day arrived. The river was ready to be filled with water, and the strange little creatures started to make their way to the orangutan enclosure. And guess who it was? A group of Asian small clawed otters. These cute little fellas could now swim from the enclosure and visit the orangutans. At first, everyone was holding their breaths, wondering how the orangutans would react. But then something magical happened. The curious little Beverly noticed the otters and started to play with them. And the otters played back. They all started to play hide and seek. And if Barini seemed to become bored because he couldn't find them, one of the otters would pop up and show them that they are indeed still there. It was a great game that they all enjoyed. But it wasn't just the youngest orangutans that were interested in the otters. Even the adult orangutans formed a bond of friendship with them. They were often seen greeting their friends when they came for a visit, and hide and seek was still their favourite game to play, along with others like chasing each other around the enclosure. The orangutans allowed them to climb all over them. They were gently hugging them, hand-feeding them, giving them lots of love and attention. It was like a two-way street, great for the orangutans and for the otters. The zoo staff were ecstatic, and soon the news spread around. The locals couldn't wait to come and see them interacting with each other. So when the zoo reopened, the orangutans had their friends, the otters, to hold and show love and play with, and now they can watch and be entertained by the zoo visitors, and vice versa. They had the best of both worlds. Except, as we know, they are wild animals and the place they should be is in their own habitat. But unfortunately, they are endangered species that need protecting. But here at the Pari Deza Zoo in Belgium, they were being well looked after, especially with the idea of incorporating the otters to their enclosure. The zoo also looked after the other zoo animals by giving them friends as well. They also shared their enclosures. For an example, the penguins shared theirs with the seals, and the buffaloes with the zebras, and the pelicans with the kangaroos, and the Columbus monkeys with the gorillas. The story of the orangutans and otters were truly heartwarming, and it's amazing how these two very different species became the best of friends. It's like the animal version of the odd couple. You've got the big, hairy orangutans and the small, sleek otters, but somehow they just clicked. And let's not forget the game of hide and seek. Who knew that these animals could have so much fun together? It's like watching a cross between the Planet of the Apes and Finding Nemo, a true spectacle of nature. Also, just before you click out of this video, if you got any value out of this video and you're an animal lover, it would be awesome to click the thumbs up. And you're most probably too busy to comment, but subscribing would be totally awesome. And as you can see on the end screens, there are other really enjoyable videos for you to watch. Thank you all very much.